Shannon Sharpe has made it clear that his patience with Caitlin Clark is wearing thin. And this time, he is not brushing off what happened on the Indiana Fever bench as just another emotional moment in a competitive game. After Clark's heated sideline exchange with Fever head coach Stephanie White during Indiana's 184 loss to the Portland Fire, Sharpe delivered one of his strongest criticisms yet of the Fever star, saying her behavior is becoming an issue that cannot keep being ignored. The moment happened Saturday night as Indiana fell to Portland and dropped to 4-4 on the season. For the Fever, it was already a frustrating game. We're struggling defensively. Portland was finding rhythm, and Indiana looked like a team still trying to figure out exactly who it wants to be. But the bench exchange between Clark and White quickly became the clip everyone was talking about after the game. White pulled Clark from the game. Cameras caught the coach visibly frustrated while speaking to her star guard. Clark did not just sit quietly and take it. She responded with emotion, holding both hands up as she talked back from the bench. The exchange did not last long, but in today's Wenby conversation, especially when Caitlin Clark is involved, a few seconds is enough to create a major debate. For some fans, it was just competitive fire. For others, it looked like a player showing up her coach in public. And for Shannon Sharpe, it crossed a line. Sharpe has been known as someone who has defended Clark in the past. He has often acknowledged her impact, her talent, and the pressure that comes with being one of the biggest names in women's basketball. But on the latest episode of his Nightcap podcast, he made it clear that this situation felt different to him. He said, "I've been in Caitlin Clark's corner, but enough is enough now. Tired of her behavior." That statement immediately stood out because it was not coming from someone who has always been against Clark. Sharpe framed his criticism as coming from someone who has supported her, but now believes the behavior is becoming too much. That makes the reaction hit differently. He was not simply questioning one bad game or one emotional moment. He was questioning a pattern he believes is starting to hurt the Fever. Sharpe went even further, saying, "I'm tired of the shoving, tired of the elitism. I'm tired of the entitlement. Play basketball. She's not holding up her end." Those are strong words. They are the kind of comments that will split the WNBA audience immediately. Clark's biggest supporters will likely see Sharpe's comments as too harsh, especially considering the level of defensive attention, physicality, and pressure she faces every night. But others may agree with him and argue that a franchise player has to handle frustration differently, especially when the cameras are always locked in. That is really the center of the debate. Caitlin Clark is not just another player on the Indiana Fever roster. She is the face of the team, one of the league's biggest attractions, and a player whose every move gets analyzed. When she celebrates, it becomes a talking point. When she struggles, it becomes a talking point. When she argues with a coach, it becomes a national conversation. That is the reality of her current place in the WNBA. But Sharpe's message was not only about the optics. He connected Clark's sideline reaction to what he sees as a deeper problem for Indiana. In his view, if a head coach cannot coach the best player without being challenged publicly, that can create major issues inside a locker room. He said, "If your coach can't coach you, you might as well just go ahead and get them up out of there." He added that if the best player keeps disrespecting the coach, other players may eventually stop respecting the coach too. That is a serious point from a former professional athlete who understands locker room dynamics. In team sports, relationship between a star player and head coach matters. If that relationship looks unstable, it can affect everyone else. Role players watch how stars are treated. Veterans watch how coaches respond. Younger players watch what is allowed. If the team's most important player appears to the coach in front of everyone, it can create a difficult standard to manage. Now, does not automatically mean the Fever are falling apart. Heated sideline moments happen all the time in professional sports. Coaches yell, players react, emotions rise, teams move on. But because this involved Clark and White during a loss, because Indiana is already dealing with questions about defense, toughness, and identity, the exchange naturally became much bigger. Timings all made it harder to ignore. Clark did not have one of her better games against Portland. In fact, it was her worst performance of the season statistically. She finished with 6 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal in 22 minutes. She shot just 1 for 7 from the field and missed both of her 3-point attempts. For a player known for changing games with her offense, kind of night was always going to draw attention. And when a poor shooting night is combined with a heated moment on the bench, criticism becomes even louder. Sharpe's point was essentially this: if Clark is going to show that much emotion toward her coach, she also has to make sure she is delivering at the level expected of a player with her role. His issue was not only that she got animated. His issue was that, in his view, she was not giving enough on both ends of the court to justify that kind of public reaction. He said, "I've given you the benefit of the doubt, and I understand you missed last year and you tried to get your rhythm back. But enough, now. Come on now." Then he added, "You're too good of a player, but you can't just play one end of the court. And don't show your coach up. Want to be passionate. Be passionate on both ends of the court. That last line is probably the heart of his criticism. Sharpe wants Clarke to take that same fire and apply it defensively. He is not denying that she is talented. He is not saying she cannot be great. In fact, he called her too good of a player to let this become part of the conversation. He is saying that passion can not only show up when reacting to a coach, arguing a call, or expressing frustration. It has to show up in defensive effort, discipline, and accountability too. Ties directly into one of the biggest conversations around Clarke this season. Opposing teams have been testing her defensively. Portland appeared to target her, trying to force her into difficult matchups and isolation situations. When teams do that, creates pressure not only on Clarke but on the Fever as a whole. If she gets into foul trouble or spends too much energy defending, can affect her offense. If Indiana's help defense is late, it can make her look worse. If communication breaks down, entire possession can collapse. Still, as the biggest name on the roster, Clarke is going to receive a major share of the criticism when things go wrong. That may not always be fair. It comes with being the focal point of a franchise.